So everyone wants to know, what is a realistic price prediction for XRP for 2024? I've been in crypto since 2016. I got the 2017 bull run, the 2021 bull run, was able to become a crypto millionaire, and being able to spot projects at the right time that not only have solid tech, utility teams, tokenomics, and narratives that will pave the trail for this bull run coming up, but also spotting the projects that have yet to see their rally is the real key. And XRP is one of those projects that not many people are talking about. There's a few select people on YouTube that are talking about it, but the majority are so focused on other projects that are seeing the hype right now, such as Solana, gaming, Avalanche, you have artificial intelligence, you have meme coins, but XRP is an OG project. It's not going away. So in this video, what I want to talk about is an XRP price prediction and also some breaking crypto news that would be the catalyst to put XRP at $30. So is that possible? Again, this is not financial advice, no investing advice. This is strictly information, educational purposes only. So what you choose to do with your money is up to you. Consult your financial advisor. But with that being said, what I want to dive into this video with you guys is what's happening in the markets right now, specifically with Bitcoin, and how this will be the catalyst that will catapult the rest of the markets and XRP as well too. Because when you look at the markets, the main thing to understand about what would catapult a project is what would drive the market cap, what would drive the growth of the project, and how much of the total market cap of the industry is one project, accumulating. For example, like Bitcoin, has accumulated 51.9% of the total market cap of the whole industry of $1.66 trillion. Ethereum has 16.3% of that. And so XRP, with $31 billion market cap compared to Bitcoin's $864 billion. If we take $31 billion and divide that by $867 billion, XRP holds only 3.575% of Bitcoin's total market cap. So by the end of this video, I'm going to give you guys a price prediction. I'm going to show you what's happening on the charts, and then we're going to come back to this right here and show you what I feel is going to happen based on the growth of this entire industry with $1.67 trillion, where Bitcoin is projected to go, and then what that will mean for the rest of the markets if XRP holds just 3 to 5% of the total market cap of Bitcoin. So let's dive right in. Comment 777 if you're feeling blessed. Comment 777 if you're feeling bullish. And if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by taking your putter, grab the like button, you just tap it in, give it a tippity taparoo, sink the putt. We're doing it for grandma because we're beating the SEC and we're buying our house back with XRP. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So quick update about the Bitcoin ETF applications. All of them are filing their updated 19B4 amendments now after the SEC consultations. And the SEC has said they have no additional feedback. So the window for approval remains the 8th through the 10th of January next week, as per Bloomberg's report. So the final stretch is here for these approvals. And Van Eck's Matthew Siegel is saying that BlackRock has over $2 billion lined up in week 1 for their Bitcoin ETF. And then Mike Alfred just posted saying it's truly breaking that he literally just got off the phone with one of Larry's lieutenants, and they're saying that the rumors about BlackRock securing $2 billion in flows for the spot Bitcoin ETF are false. The real number is more like $3 to $4 billion. So things are heating up now. Everyone's feeling bullish. And over in the Middle East, Qatar is looking to buy Bitcoin. Speculation is saying that they want to allocate $500 billion. And if this happens, this will easily catapult the price upwards of 100 or 200K for Bitcoin. And so looking at the Bitcoin price chart, there's a few scenarios that could take place here based on the ETF approval. And a lot of people are saying this is going to be the sell the news event. I actually think it would be the exact opposite because it's opening up the doors for the majority of institutional revenue to flow in. And we're talking about billions of dollars, then eventually trillions of dollars over the next few years to flow into these markets. So if the ETFs on the other side of the scale are denied or delayed, I would expect there to be a sell-off similar to what happened back in September of 2020. We saw Bitcoin rally up out of this range of roughly $10,000, come all the way upwards of $12,000. And for an extended period of time, once we saw this rally, it took about 31 days, and then Bitcoin saw a sell-off. So if the ETFs were to be denied, Bitcoin could drop 18, 19, 20%. Instantly, I think Bitcoin would fall back down to this range that it was struggling to break out from all the way back at the middle to end of November, even towards the beginning of November, of roughly $37,000 to $38,000. So that'd be like a 15% drop. And then arguably we could come all the way back down here to back test this range that we were consolidating in for, over 200 days all the way back here. So that would come at bad news, right? We have to look at the bad news and think about what's the likely case scenario. And so the likely case scenario with a delay or a denial, flat out denial, Bitcoin would crash down here, consolidate, and then most likely come all the way back down to 31K to 30K to this range and consolidate around here. But the news is looking bullish. And so on the other side of the scale, what would happen if it were to be approved? Well, we could arguably see something like this happen right here, where Bitcoin, consolidated from November of 2020 to December of 2020 for about a month. And then Bitcoin broke to the upside during that bull run. And we saw a massive parabolic move for Bitcoin, and it rallied up, about 138%. So if we were to see something like this happen for Bitcoin, I would expect Bitcoin to go upwards of 48, all the way up to maybe $60,000. Now, I don't think the ETF news alone is enough to drive Bitcoin past the all-time high, although anything's possible. What I'm expecting is there to be some massive sell pressure up at these resistance levels. One is obviously the 618 retracement at about $48,500. And so how this would affect XRP, I'm going to get into XRP's chart in a little bit. But the reason why we talk about Bitcoin, guys, is because with that shakeout news that took place right here when Bitcoin dropped from $45,000 to $40,000 really quick off of some report, off of a company that virtually nobody's heard of before, that was some orchestrated event to liquidate the longs. And so I don't think that was correlated, and that news report didn't cause the crash. There was some insider manipulation happening behind the scenes to orchestrate a sell-off to liquidate the leverage traders, to wipe that off the table. And so Bitcoin could be bought up at $40,000 and we start the process again. And so when we look at the heat maps, this shows how much leverage is on the table at certain price points. And you can see from dark blue all the way up to yellow in terms of millions of dollars, 132 million. You can see all the way up here at about $45,000, we have the most amount of leverage up here. And so the price tends to move towards where the majority of leverage traders are putting their limit orders at. And so the price is gearing up for a major breakout to the upside, more so than the downside, all the way upwards of, you can see a lot of leverage up here at 45,946K. So that's where I would expect the next move to happen for Bitcoin. Now we forget, a lot of people are talking about the ETFs coming in the United States for the SEC, but people forget that there's more countries out there, right? Hong Kong spot Bitcoin ETF signals a bullish market shift more than the United States. And so over in the Middle East, over in China, over in Asia, Hong Kong's financial regulator has set guidelines for approving spot Bitcoin ETFs, embracing both in-kind and cash crates models. Now I'll explain what both of these are and how they're going to move the market. And this move is broadening the range of investment options in the crypto market and positions, because Hong Kong spot Bitcoin ETF, has a more bullish initiative than the US equivalent, because the US, has been dragging their feet thanks to Gary Gensler from the SEC. And in contrast, the US has passed its final deadline for spot Bitcoin ETF issuers to submit their final amendments. So we're seeing these amendments fly in right now, and then we're just waiting until the 8th through the 10th. So we have like 3 to 5 days, and it could happen any minute now, guys. So it's crunch time right now. And, when you look at the $200 million seed investment in the spot Bitcoin ETF from Bitwise, we're seeing these other companies starting to, want to top that and put in billions of dollars. And I expect BlackRock to, be the mover and the shaker of this. And the in-kind ETF model typically is allowing investors to exchange their existing Bitcoin holdings for ETF shares. So with this model, it means that investors can redeem their ETF shares for Bitcoin, making the process a two-way street from Bitcoin to ETF shares and vice versa. And this model appeals to current Bitcoin holders looking to diversify their portfolios without transitioning to fiat currencies. And in contrast, the cash ETF model involves buying and selling ETF shares using traditional fiat currencies like the Hong Kong dollar or the US dollar. And this model is more familiar to traditional investors and is more accessible for those not currently holding Bitcoin. So Hong Kong's decision to approve both ETF models is very, very important, because it opens up more investment avenues, like drawing in more institutional and retail investors. This move is expected to enhance Bitcoin market liquidity and stability, reflecting a broader acceptance and regulation of cryptocurrencies globally. And so the impact on Bitcoin supply and demand dynamics in-kind ETFs could influence Bitcoin's availability on exchanges. With the ability to redeem ETF shares for actual Bitcoin, there is likely a decrease in Bitcoin available on exchanges. And this, coupled with the Bitcoin halving event coming up end of April, early May, where Bitcoin creation rate halves approximately every 4 years, this is going to significantly affect Bitcoin's supply and demand. And in terms of the global context and how this affects the rest of the world, Hong Kong's decision to allow both in-kind and cash crate models for Bitcoin ETFs represents a significant step, as a large volume in the crypto market comes from Asia. As you guys know, when the lawsuit hit Ripple versus the SEC, XRP's rebound was due to Asia, was due to over in the Middle East, was due to those markets, because XRP was delisted from United States exchanges. And now we're starting to see a war for advertising start to pop up with these commercials. You guys saw the Dos Equis guy. So we're going to start to see a lot more advertisements pop up, and the mainstream media is going to start to push this to more retail investors that are used to 401ks, Roth IRAs, the stock market, because most people still aren't touching the crypto markets, guys. When you look at Google Trends and we type in Bitcoin and we sort based on the past 5 years, you can see that the interest out of 100 is only 18, and it took a dip from that rally, beginning of December, we were upwards of 30. Now, if we were to compare it to something like XRP, you can see that virtually nobody knows what XRP is around the globe compared to Bitcoin. XRP is a 3 out of 100. So in terms of interest, Bitcoin dwarfs XRP, and Bitcoin is still not that interesting compared to what it was back during the last bull run. And so that's a good sign, because everybody knows that Bitcoin is not going to create generational wealth this bull run if you're buying right now. Sure, it could do 3, 4, 5, maybe a 10x if it goes absolutely parabolic, but a 10x for Bitcoin would be $400,000. So it's most likely not going to do a 10x this bull run. By 2030, I think it's possible, but the true generational wealth is in the mid caps, the low caps, and the micro caps. And the Middle East is gearing up by approving Ripple, approving XRP over in places like Dubai to bridge the oil money.
I just wanted to ask the panel one last question. There was the great phrase that when Bitcoin tanks, don't sell in panic, let me get out first. I was wondering what the estimate of the panel in 5 years' time, what is going to be the price of Bitcoin? Reza, could I ask?
Well, it's going to be much, much higher than now, because the next generation is going to accept it as a means of payment and store value. The challenge is whether we're able to create safety around those transactions, in that, are we able to limit people that are nefarious from using it? And I think Ripple and others will solve for that. KYC, AML, OFAC. No one wants to pay Hamas money to go out and do their dirty deeds, and others in the region and beyond. So that's the big gateway for institutional adoption. Once that's solved, I think it's going to add a couple of zeros to the end of that and make some good money.
Sounds good.
And lots of people are arguing that XRP is the centralized banker's coin, and that the price of XRP on the private ledger is going to be different than on the public ledger. But listen to what the CTO at Ripple has to say about that.
But the question is, will the value of XRP be the same in the private ledgers as it is on the public?
Yes. The value proposition of XRP is that it has these liquidity pools. If it doesn't make sense to isolate something, like there's no place where gold is worth twice as much as it is now, because if there was, people would just bring gold there, and they would they would buy gold somewhere else and they would sell it there. Unless the only way that you can have the value be very different in two places is if there's a lot of friction. And if there's friction, someone will make a business of removing that friction. So I don't see any realistic scenario where XRP has significantly different value unless something's wrong. Like a good example of a case, there was a time where the value of XRP, they called it the kimchi premium, right? Where the value of XRP in some Asian countries was very high, but that was because there were capital controls, right? That was because things were bad. I think that's a sign that something is not going well. The value proposition of XRP is that you can take it to all of the places, right? If I sell you some gold and you say, hey, this gold can only be used in jewelry, you're like, well, that kind of sucks. I don't want that gold, right? The value proposition of gold is that you have access to the entire value proposition of gold. And so I don't see any scenario in which where it makes sense to snip pieces off, again, unless something is wrong.
And everybody knows SWIFT and how that's currently used with banking all across the globe, but over 11,000 banks are using SWIFT. And listen to this.
SWIFT is the preeminent messaging system for the financial industry, which covers, say, payments, FX, trade, in terms of securities, etc., Nostra reconciliations, etc. What we're looking with the crypto, though, is where SWIFT would have a store and forward system for most of its payment transactions, where you need service level agreements that in a certain time I will do something, the payment turns up at a certain time during the day. Here we're looking at the new network styles, which allow instant, real-time movement to the funds and visibility of those funds as well. So we would not have a situation where banks need to come back to you and say, have my funds arrived? It's 3 days later. I need to find out or find query messages moving around the network. There's nothing like that. I don't believe Ripple is going to replace SWIFT. Ripple is one of the complementary networks, which is going to allow those institutions who need real time to make use of that. And I think we're also seeing that SWIFT are changing their network capability so that real time will be a possibility as well. But we may also see Ripple XRP moving across the SWIFT network as a currency when we're perhaps using something like FX.
Now, this is absolutely massive because everyone knows the foreign exchange market is insane. You see the daily turnover of global foreign exchange market with 39 different currencies from 2001 to 2022, and it continuously gets larger and larger and larger. You know, the daily volume was nearly 6 billion in US dollars, you know, for November 2023 when this report came out. And that's not even including the euro, the JPY, the GBP, the CNY, the AUD, the CAD, all these other currencies. And so the foreign exchange market is the largest financial market in the world, larger than the stock market, with a daily volume of $6.6 trillion. And this was according to 2019, a central bank survey of FX and OTC derivatives markets. So the institutions, guys, have been prepping for this. And if we see a Bitcoin ETF approval, well, that not only paves the trail for potentially an Ethereum ETF approval, potentially Solana, Cardano, and XRP. I think an XRP ETF could be coming down the pipeline. Now, the perfect storm of opportunity would be Bitcoin ETFs getting approved, leading into Bitcoin's halving, you know, XRP ETF, you know, bridging the oil money, bridging the FX markets, all of a sudden this happening at matrix level timing compared to the past. You know, if I were to draw up the chart back from the bull run that happened, you know, 2015, 16, and then 2017 when XRP shot up, you know, we could be arguably, you know, just a month or two away from something like this. It's pretty trippy how similar this is, where you see, you know, a sell-off, consolidation period, XRP grinds up, just exactly what happened back in 2016. One final shakeout event down here where XRP saw a sell-off below the upward trending support line right here. XRP currently wicked off of this upward trending support line. So if we see XRP sell off further to the downside, but yet hold this support, I would expect eventually a move for XRP to come in the near term this year before Bitcoin's halving, and that would be at the backs of an ETF approval. Now, if the ETFs get denied, you know, that's not going to be good for the whole altcoin market cap. So the catalyst that would propel XRP to $30 would be the Bitcoin ETF approval, and then leading into Ripple IPOing potentially an XRP ETF, and then the Federal Reserve to figure out what they're doing with the interest rates, because in March they're planning on lowering. So if the Fed's going to be lowering interest rates in March right before Bitcoin's halving, I would expect there to be a crash this year happening, and then the boom after the crash, similar to what happened back here during COVID. But I don't expect it to be too big of a black swan event compared to that, although anything's possible. But I do think that in the short term, you know, XRP is looking bullish, upwards of, you know, 90 cents, $1.30, then consolidates, potentially sees a crash back down to this upward trending support. So the best thing to think about here, guys, for XRP is, hey, listen, if we shoot up to the moon right now or tomorrow, or when you're watching this video, if XRP is currently rallying, well, then you're missing your chance to accumulate as much as possible. So the longer that we consolidate, the better, in my opinion, because that gives me personally more time to accumulate XRP. Now, I do want to talk about price predictions on what's possible based on Fibonacci retracements, based on market cap, and based on the macro market narrative. Because if I were to draw the Fibonacci retracement tool from the high to the low, if we were to look at what would take XRP to a full extension, that'd be about $13. And so in the short term for XRP, you know, I would expect it to come up to retest this downward trending resistance that I've talked about in so many different videos at about $1.30, roughly right around here, which would be a, you know, about a 382. If it would be a 618 retracement if we were to draw from the high of 2021 to the low of 2022. Bringing XRP within this range right here, we could see XRP rally up here, get rejected, then consolidate at the upper echelon of this downward trending resistance right here. But then again, we could fly right through it. But what would cause this? Obviously, ETF approvals, but also massive market cap growth. We would need to see institutions dump a lot of money into the altcoin market, and all altcoins are going to be rallying. So XRP is a strong anchor of my portfolio. Although I do think other projects are going to see higher upside in the short term because they do have lower market caps. Like some projects like Celestia, you see like Chainlink, has like an $8 billion market cap. You see, other projects like XLM, smaller market caps. You see Avalanche, you see these projects that don't yet have a $30 billion market cap. So it takes a lot more money to move a project like XRP. So rather than just throwing out random price predictions of like $100, $200, $1,000, like a lot of the moon math people are out there are doing, we need to look at comparison to Bitcoin on what it would take for XRP to do $30 and where that would put Bitcoin relative to where XRP is right now based on Bitcoin's total market cap. So if XRP maintains the current percentage of Bitcoin's total market cap at about 3.5%, and Bitcoin's market cap is at $864 billion, well, how do we calculate this? What we do is we take the potential price of what we could go to and see what that would mean for the market cap. So for example, if XRP were to go to $30, what we would do is we take the price prediction, let's say $30, and we would multiply that by the circulating supply. Now keep in mind, Ripple releases XRP from their escrow every single month. They release about 1 billion, but then they put a certain amount back into escrow. So with this prediction, we're going to be basing it off the current circulating supply. Keep in mind that this circulating supply is going to increase, which would further skew the numbers, and I'll explain how that works. So we take $30, multiply that by 54.2 billion XRP, and that would equal $1.6 trillion market cap that would be needed at the current circulating supply to hit $30. So that's possible, but we would need to see what Bitcoin would be if XRP held 3.5% of Bitcoin's total market cap, and XRP's market cap was $1.6 trillion at this. So let's just say $40 trillion, multiply that 0.035, so that's 3.5%, that'd be about $1.4 trillion. So Bitcoin's market cap would need to be roughly between 40 and 50 trillion dollars, and XRP would need to hold 3.5% of that to have a $30 price prediction. Now, what would that put Bitcoin's price at? So how we figure that out is very simple. We take the market cap and we divide that by the circulating supply to get the price. And so if we were to take $864 billion in market cap and we divide that by the circulating supply of about 19.59 million Bitcoin, that would be about $44,000 where we are right about now. So if the market cap of Bitcoin would need to be between 40 and 50 trillion dollars in order for XRP to have a $30 price target with the current share of 3.5% of Bitcoin's total market cap, well, let's just say based on the circulating supply, because it's virtually impossible to know what XRP's circulating supply would be at that, because Ripple decides how much they're going to put back in their escrow based on the billion that they release every month. So let's just say on the upper echelon of $50 trillion. So if we were to take $50 trillion in terms of Bitcoin's market cap and divide that by, let's say, 20 billion Bitcoin, because by that time, the market cap to get to 50 trillion, I would assume more Bitcoin would be in circulation from the max supply. Bitcoin's price would need to be roughly $2.5 million at a $50 trillion market cap. Now, Michael Saylor thinks that's possible, but in 2024, I don't know, guys. I mean, that's a long shot. I think by 2030, we could see $1 million Bitcoin, maybe a $2.5 million Bitcoin. Anything's possible with the gross debt of the United States projected to grow from 33 trillion to over $50 trillion by 2030. So by 2030, a significant amount of money is going to flow in and paving the trails for mass adoption to grow from where we are right now, $1.67 trillion. This industry is a tiny little minnow. In fact, it's not even a minnow. It's like a little crab on the side of the rock that is projected to grow into the tens or 50 or 100 trillion dollars over the next decade. And this massive whale has received 735 million in Tether, the stablecoin, from the Tether treasury in the past 3 days. This whale deposited USDT into exchanges. So they've deployed 2.5 billion USDT into the crypto since October 20th. So do they know about the Bitcoin ETF approval? What's happening behind the scenes there? And what are you doing to prepare for what's about to come over the next few years? As we back up our truck all the way to the bank, we grab the bags, pack them and stack them, leave no bags left behind, because we believe the spending power of the dollar is going to continue to go down in value. That's a fact based on inflation, blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, and cryptocurrencies, specifically XRP, are gearing up to become more popular And together, you know where we're going, guys. We're going camping on the beaches of the moon. I'll see you on the next video. If you want to discover our top altcoin picks first and get early bird access to our financial education platform when that's released with no previous crypto trading experience, all you have to do is go to bullrunners.com or click the link in the description below. It'll take you to this page right here. You click the button on the page, you put in your best email address. It's free. You get instant access to our free Telegram group. You get subscribed to our daily video newsletter because you can get access to that information right away before the YouTube algorithm pushes it to you, because we like to give you the best to help you prepare for the worst that's yet to come in this economy. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Do you guys agree? Do you think XRP could go to $30? I think by 2024, I'm expecting anywhere between $5 to $20 max for XRP. I think $30 is possible by 2030, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We first need to see XRP, reach the all-time high first, and then when that happens, then it's off to the races. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one. I'll see you on bullrunners.com. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.